Take a close look at the face on your screen right now. It has perfect skin, human eyes, and a warm smile. But your brain is screaming that something is absolutely, biologically wrong. Do you feel that cold knot tightening in your stomach? That isn't confusion. That is a violent survival instinct. We call this the Uncanny Valley, but evolutionary biologists call it pathogen avoidance. Your DNA isn't scared of robots. It is terrified of corpses. It thinks you are staring at a dead body that has been animated by a disease. This primitive instinct kept your ancestors safe from infection for millennia, but today, in the age of hyper-realistic AI and digital filters, this ancient alarm system is malfunctioning. You aren't just looking at a machine, you are staring into a biological void that evolution never prepared you to understand. Take a close look at the face on your screen right now. It has perfect skin, human eyes, and a warm smile, but your brain is screaming that something is absolutely, biologically wrong. Your DNA isn't scared of robots. It is terrified of corpses. It thinks you are staring at a dead body that has been animated by a disease. Do you feel that cold knot tightening in your stomach? That isn't confusion. That is a violent survival instinct. We call this the Uncanny Valley, but evolutionary biologists call it pathogen avoidance. You aren't just looking at a machine, you are staring into a biological void that evolution never prepared you to understand. This glitch in your reality has a name. In 1970, Japanese roboticist Masahiro Mori identified a fatal paradox in the human mind. He realized that as we make machines look more like us, our empathy increases, but only to a point. At 95% realism, that empathy crashes. The curve drops off a cliff into pure revulsion. The almost human becomes a monster. Mori called this drop the Uncanny Valley, but he didn't explain why it happens. Over the next minutes, we will decode the biological software that triggers this reaction and reveal why your brain draws a violent line between the living and the dead. To understand the glitch, we must look at the data. The graph begins with safety. An industrial robot arm in a factory causes no fear. It is clearly a machine. It creates no confusion in your brain. As we add human traits, a face, two eyes, a smile, our affection rises. A humanoid toy feels cute. A stuffed animal feels cute. We want to connect with it. But then we cross the line. Soft, digital downslide riser. When a robot looks 99% human but moves slightly wrong, or when a prosthetic hand feels cold to the touch, the brain stops seeing a friend. It sees a defective human. Mori argued that this dip exists to protect us from death, because the object at the very bottom of the Uncanny Valley, the thing that triggers the absolute maximum revulsion, is not a robot, it is a corpse. But Mori's theory was developed in 1970. He was worried about mechanical dolls. He was worried about primitive robots. He never saw what was coming. Today, we aren't walking into the Uncanny Valley. We are living in it. Every time you scroll past an AI-generated influencer or watch a deepfake of a world leader, your ancient brain is firing off the same alarm. The line between the digital, almost human, and the biological, real human, is disappearing. And that leads us to a terrifying question. If your brain is programmed to fear things that look human but aren't, what happens when the machines finally get it right? What happens when the valley disappears? But Mori's theory was developed in 1970. He was worried about mechanical dolls and primitive robots. He never saw what was coming. Today, we aren't walking into the Uncanny Valley. We are living in it. Every time you scroll past an AI-generated influencer or watch a deepfake of a world leader, your ancient brain is firing off the same alarm. The line between the digital, almost human, and the biological, real human is disappearing. And that leads us to a terrifying question. If your brain is programmed to fear things that look human but aren't, what happens when the machines finally get it right? What happens when the valley disappears? To find the answer to this paradox, we have to look past the circuits and into our own blood. Psychologists believe the Uncanny Valley isn't a mistake of modern technology. It's a legacy of ancient survival. There is a theory called pathogen avoidance. For millions of years, the greatest threat to your ancestors wasn't a predator with teeth. It was a predator you couldn't see. Disease. Evolution programmed us to be hypersensitive to any human face that looks slightly off. Pale skin, sunken eyes, stiff movements weren't just signs of a machine back then. They were signs of a plague, and your brain hasn't forgotten how to spot it. This is the dark truth at the bottom of the valley. Your brain doesn't fear the robot because it's too advanced. It fears the robot because it reminds you of a corpse. To our ancestors, a human form that looked almost alive, but didn't move or breathe correctly, was a sign of immediate biological danger. It meant a body was lifeless, potentially contagious, and should be avoided at all costs. This is why the Uncanny Valley feels so cold. It's not an aesthetic preference. It's a keep away sign from your own DNA. When you look at an AI face and feel that shudder, you are experiencing a ghost of a survival mechanism that has been protecting our species for 5 million years. You are looking at a machine, but your soul is reacting to a funeral. We are now standing on the edge of a new technological threshold where the valley we have feared for decades is finally beginning to close. Engineers and developers are no longer merely building mechanical puppets. They are perfecting a digital illusion so profound that it threatens to bypass our biological defenses entirely. Soon, the subtle micro-expressions that once gave them away, the warmth of the skin and the genuine spark of life in the eyes, will become indistinguishable from the person staring back at you in the mirror. We are rapidly approaching the era of total realism, but as the uncanny disappears and the fake becomes perfect, we must confront a terrifying evolution in our own psychology. When we can no longer rely on our ancient biological alarm systems to tell us what is human and what is synthetic, we lose our most fundamental anchor to objective reality. We aren't just conquering a scientific paradox. We are entering a world where the mask is so perfect that the concept of a real person might become a relic of the past. The next time you feel that strange, cold shiver while looking at a screen, don't ignore it. It is 5 million years of evolution whispering in your ear, trying to tell you that something isn't right. But as the valley disappears, we have to ask, if we can't trust our instincts anymore, who can we trust? This is the first of many deep dives into the shadows of the human mind. If you want to understand the hidden architecture of your own reality, welcome to the collective. The question isn't whether the machines are becoming human. The question is, are we becoming the machines? Subscribe to Cortex. Stay vigilant. The deep dive has just begun.